Batman Adventures Issue 12, written by Kelly Puckett and art by Mike Porobeck. So the first panel we see is entitled Batgirl Day 1, Act 1, Ladies Night. It's a really long title. We learn pretty early in the comic that Batman is out of town searching for another villain. The comic quickly cuts to a panel showing Barbara Gordon dreaming of being just like Batman. We also learn pretty early in the comic that Barbara is planning on going to a costume party, and it just so happens that the costume that she has chosen is Batman, of all things. The next panels we see are of two women planning to kidnap Barbara's friend Sandy, the one that's hosting the costume party. And as you can see, we can kind of tell who these two women are. We will quickly find out that there is law enforcement at the party. But these next few panels that I'm going to show you are very important because this is the first comic appearance ever of Harley Quinn, and it shows her knocking out cops with her famous Louisville Slugger. And that is the end of Act 1. And then we move on to Act 2, which is called If the Suit Fits. So Barbara decides she's had enough. She decides to headbutt Harley Quinn, sending her on a loop, knocking her down. Poison Ivy almost immediately runs to Harley Quinn and tries to help her. So what does Barbara do? She gets a plant and holds it hostage. She literally picks a plant up and holds it hostage against Poison Ivy. That of course makes Poison Ivy back down. Barbara gets to go and save her friend, and she delivers one of the best one-liners I've ever seen Batgirl deliver. "I'm Batgirl. Batman couldn't make it." As Barbara and Sandy try to make an escape, she ends up running down the hallway and right into the barrel of a gun. That gun is being held by Harley Quinn. And when you know it, she fires and she misses. Why? Because comics. This is when the random cops from earlier that we saw show up, and then they take everybody hostage. And we found out that they are bad guys, and they are working for none other than Catwoman. And she swoops in and makes her grand entrance. This will conclude Act 2. Act 3 is entitled Out of the Frying Pan. Just in Catwoman fashion, she's pulling off a heist, and she's trying to get a diamond that's in the floor above the party. And it seems just as quickly as Catwoman entered, she left. Barbara ends up getting free with a little help from Poison Ivy, and she ends up also setting the alarm off in the floor above her, which causes the real cops to actually come. Barbara ends up deciding to take the law in her own hands and chases Catwoman up to the rooftops, where Catwoman drops the diamond for whatever reason and she leaves, but not before saying, "I never forget a bat." With her dad being the police commissioner, he eventually shows up and asks her if she's okay, which she immediately lies and says that she didn't have anything to do with anything and wasn't around. And he also asked her where her costume is, and she lies yet again and tells her dad that it didn't fit, as we see a shot of the costume in the trash can and Barbara smiling like she has achieved glorious victory over Poison Ivy, Harley Quinn, and Catwoman.